"I'm pregnant. We don't know whose it is," she said, as I handed her the divorce papers. She'd been playing house with another man while I was deployed. She had no idea I came back with all the evidence. "I'm writing this from a hotel room at 2 a.m. because I can't bear to be in that house right now and I can't sleep. I don't even know where to start with this shit. I'm active duty military, been deployed for the last 8 months in the Middle East. My deployment was supposed to end next week, but we wrapped up early and I got clearance to fly home yesterday as a surprise for my wife Nicole. We've been married for 3 years, together for 5. I thought we had a solid relationship. She's been sending me care packages, daily texts, video calls when the time zones worked out. I was so excited to surprise her. I took a red-eye flight, landed at 6 a.m., grabbed an Uber straight home. I was planning to sneak in, maybe make breakfast, wake her up with coffee in bed, the whole romantic homecoming thing. I even stopped and bought flowers at the airport. I used my key to get in the front door and immediately something felt off. There were men's shoes by the door that weren't mine. Size 11 Nikes, still pretty new. I thought maybe her brother was visiting or something, but it was weird she hadn't mentioned it. Her brother lives 3 states away and we usually know weeks in advance when family visits. Then I noticed there were beer bottles on the coffee table, 2 different glasses. My stomach started churning, but I tried to rationalize it. I walked toward the kitchen and that's when I saw him. This guy, maybe 30s, athletic build, standing in my kitchen wearing nothing but boxer briefs. Just standing there like he owned the place, looking in the fridge. I froze completely. My first thought was that someone had broken in and maybe hurt Nicole. I was about to tackle this bastard when I heard her voice. "Babe, can you grab the orange juice while you're in there?" Nicole's voice. Calling this half-naked stranger in my kitchen babe. The guy, I found out later his name is Bruce, looked up and saw me standing there in full uniform with my duffel bag and flowers. His face went white. Nicole walked around the corner wearing one of my old military t-shirts and panties, saw me, and literally screamed. For about 10 seconds, nobody moved. I just stood there, flowers still in hand like a complete idiot trying to process what I was seeing. My wife in my house with some random guy who was clearly comfortable enough to walk around in his underwear. The implications hit me like a freight train. "Desmond, oh my God, what are you doing here?" she stammered, like I was the one who didn't belong. The question hit me like a slap. What was I doing here, in my own freaking house? I couldn't speak. I just stared at her, then at Bruce, then back at her. Bruce started backing toward what I assume was the bedroom to get his clothes. That's when it really sank in, this bastard had been sleeping in my bed. "Who the hell is this?" I finally managed to get out. Nicole started crying immediately. "Des, I can explain, it's not what it looks like." "Really? Because it looks like there's a half-naked man in my kitchen and my wife just called him babe." The crying looked so fake now. I'd seen Nicole cry before, real tears when her grandmother died when she was stressed about work. This was different. This was performance crying. Bruce came back out wearing jeans and a t-shirt, clearly trying to make a quick exit. "Look man, I should go," he said to me. His voice was calm, almost apologetic, but there was something underneath it. Not guilt, more like annoyance at being caught. "Yeah, you should," I replied. That's when Nicole stepped between us. "Bruce, don't leave. Des, you need to calm down and let me explain." The audacity, the sheer audacity of telling me to calm down while defending this guy. "Explain what, Nicole? Explain why your boyfriend is comfortable enough to walk around my house in his underwear. Explain why you're wearing my shirt while calling another man babe. He's not my boyfriend." She snapped, which was rich considering what I just witnessed. "Then what is he?" She looked at Bruce, then back at me like she was trying to coordinate their story in real time. It's complicated." "It's really not complicated," I said. "Get out, both of you, now." Nicole started going off about how this is her house too and she has rights. Bruce was trying to play peacemaker, saying they should talk this out like adults. The way he said adults pissed me off more than anything else. Like I was some child throwing a tantrum instead of a man whose wife was sleeping with another guy. I lost it and told Bruce if he didn't get out of my house in the next 30 seconds, I was going to remove him myself. My military training was kicking in and I could feel myself shifting into combat mode. Bruce must have seen something in my face because he started moving toward the door. "This is insane, Des," Nicole said. "You can't just throw us out. Watch me." They both left then, but not before Nicole screamed that she would be back and we needed to discuss this like mature adults. I watched them drive away together in Bruce's car. After they left, I couldn't stay in that house. Every room felt contaminated. I could see them everywhere, him in my kitchen, her in my t-shirt, both of them in my bed. The couch where we used to watch movies together. The dining table where she'd spread out care package supplies while video calling me. It was all poisoned now. I grabbed some clothes, got in my car, and drove to the nearest hotel. I've been sitting in this hotel room for 18 hours trying to process this. I know I could go back to the house, it's mine after all, but I can't. Not yet. 8 months. I was gone for 8 months and she moved another man into our house. I called my buddy Mike who lives nearby and he confirmed what I suspected. Nicole's been seen around town with this guy for months. "We thought you knew," he said. "We thought maybe you guys had worked something out." "What do you mean worked something out?" "Like, you know, an arrangement. Military marriages are tough, man. Some couples do open relationships during deployments." The thought made me sick. Did people in our town really think I was okay with this? "How long, Mike?" "At least 4 months that I know of. Maybe longer. I'm sorry, bro. I thought you knew. 4 months minimum." While I was dodging IEDs and getting shot at, she was playing house with Bruce. While I was sleeping in a tent in 120-degree heat, they were comfortable in my bed with the AC I pay for. Reddit, I feel like such an idiot. I trusted her completely. I never even suspected. What do I do now? How do I go back to that house knowing what happened there? How do I look at my bed, my kitchen, my couch, knowing what they did there? How do people get through this? Update 1. Posted 2 weeks ago, so after I posted, I spent another day in the hotel feeling sorry for myself. Then I got angry. Really angry. Not the explosive kind of anger I felt when I first caught them. This was cold, calculated rage. The kind that makes you plan instead of react. I called a divorce lawyer first thing Monday morning. Found one who specializes in military divorces and has experience with adultery cases. Cost me $500 just for the consultation, but it was worth every penny. The lawyer, Janet, laid it out straight. North Carolina is a fault state. Adultery is grounds for divorce, and the fact that I have evidence gives me a huge advantage. She told me to start documenting everything, change passwords, secure my finances, and file first. We'll also immediately request temporary orders, exclusive use of the home, asset protection, freezing joint accounts. Whoever acts first controls the situation, she said. Meanwhile, Nicole had been blowing up my phone. Hundreds of texts, dozens of calls. At first it was apologies and let me explain. Then it turned into anger when I didn't respond. Then back to begging. The classic manipulation cycle. Tuesday afternoon she showed up at the hotel. I have no idea how she found me, but there she was in the lobby, crying and carrying on about how sorry she was. She was wearing the dress I bought her for our anniversary last year. Very calculated choice. I agreed to talk to her in the hotel restaurant because I figured it was public and safe. Big mistake. She started with the waterworks. Des, I'm so sorry. I never meant for you to find out like this. Not sorry she did it, sorry I found out. Already a red flag. I asked her how long it had been going on. She claimed it started recently and that she was lonely and made a mistake. I pressed her for details and the story kept changing. First it was a few weeks, then a month, then maybe 2 months. Mike says it's been at least 4 months. Her face went white. Mike doesn't know what he's talking about. So you're saying my friend is lying? I'm saying people see what they want to see. I told her about the toiletries in our bathroom, the clothes, the way Bruce was comfortable walking around naked in my house. That wasn't a recent thing. That was domestic comfort built over time. Fine, she said. You want the truth? I've been unhappy for a long time. You're never here. You chose the military over me. Bruce makes me feel alive again. There it was, the real Nicole. So this is my fault. I didn't say that. You just said I chose the military over you. I'm serving my country, Nicole. This is my job. This is how I support us. And what about what I need? What about my needs? Your needs don't include sleeping with other men in my house. She flinched at that. Don't be crude. Crude. You want to talk about crude? I was sleeping in a tent getting shot at while you were sleeping with another man in my bed. That's crude. I told her I was filing for divorce and she needed to get her shit out of the house. That's when she got nasty. She started talking about how she was entitled to half of everything, how she sacrificed her career for my military service, how I abandoned her. The victim complex was stunning. What career, Nicole? You work part-time at a bank. I never asked you to sacrifice anything. I could have done more if I wasn't always worried about moving for your deployments. We've lived in the same house for 3 years. We've never moved. That's not the point. What is the point? The point is that you left me alone for 8 months with no support. You had support. You had my income, my benefits, video calls, care packages I sent you. What you didn't have was permission to move another man into my house. Then she dropped the bomb that changed everything. I'm pregnant. I felt the blood drain from my face. The restaurant seemed to spin around me. How far along? 2 months. I'd been deployed for 8 months. What was she even trying to play here? Is it Bruce's? I asked. She started crying again. We don't know whose it is. I've been gone for 8 months, Nicole. Unless you're lying about how pregnant you are, we both know whose it is. I left her sitting in that restaurant and drove straight to Janet's office. We filed the papers that afternoon. Adultery, alienation of affection, the works. I also changed the locks on the house and secured our joint accounts. Nicole tried calling me that night, but I didn't answer. She left a voicemail saying she was going to fight me for everything and that I would regret throwing away our marriage over one mistake. I spent the next few days moving back into the house and documenting everything Bruce had left behind. Clothes in my closet, toiletries in my bathroom, his coffee in my kitchen. His deodorant was still in the medicine cabinet. His razor was in the shower. I found a notebook in the kitchen with grocery lists in Nicole's handwriting. Things like Bruce's protein powder, that beer he likes, steaks for Friday. The level of disrespect was staggering. They'd been living like a married couple in my house, sleeping in my bed, using my utilities, eating my food, all while I was serving overseas. My command has been supportive. They've seen this before and they're giving me time to handle the legal stuff. My brothers in arms have been checking on me constantly. It helps knowing I'm not alone. The hardest part is dealing with the betrayal. I keep replaying our conversations from deployment. Were there signs I missed? Was she lying to my face those whole 8 months? When she sent me that last care package 2 weeks ago, was Bruce there helping her pack it? Janet says we have a strong case. Nicole's going to have a hard time explaining away the adultery and the pregnancy timeline. North Carolina doesn't look kindly on cheating spouses, especially military spouses who pull this shit. I'm trying to focus on moving forward, but it's hard. I feel like everything I believed about my life was a lie. Edit. Someone asked about base housing. We live off base in a house we bought together, which complicates things. But Janet says since she abandoned the marriage through adultery, I have grounds to claim exclusive use of the home. Update 2. Posted 1 week ago. This situation has gone completely off the rails. Nicole is showing her true colors and it's ugly as hell. So after my last update, things were quiet for a few days. I was starting to settle back into the house, trying to figure out my new normal. I'd packed up all of Nicole's stuff and put it in the garage. I'd also had the locks changed and installed a security camera system on Janet's advice. Best $800 I ever spent. The house felt different now, empty but also cleaner somehow. I'd thrown out everything that reminded me of Bruce. Burned those bastards' belongings in the backyard fire pit. It was therapeutic. Thursday morning I was getting ready for PT when I heard someone banging on the front door. Loud, aggressive banging. I looked through the window and it was Nicole with Bruce. She was yelling about how this was her house too and I couldn't lock her out. The security cameras caught everything. I didn't open the door. Instead, I stood where she could see me through the window and held up my phone, recording her. That made her even angrier. "Open this stupid door, Desmond. This is my house. You can't just change the locks." Bruce was trying to calm her down, but she was having none of it. She started kicking the door and screaming that she was going to call the police and have me arrested for illegally evicting her. "I have rights," she screamed. "I'm pregnant. You can't do this to a pregnant woman." Using the pregnancy as a shield. Classy. So I called the police first. When the cops showed up, Nicole immediately went into victim mode. Tears, telling them how I'd locked her out of her own home, how she just wanted to get her things. She was good at it too. I could see the officers were initially sympathetic. But then I showed them the divorce papers, the adultery filing, and the security footage of her banging on my door and threatening me. I also explained that she'd abandoned the home to live with her affair partner. The officers pulled Nicole aside and explained that since she'd voluntarily left the home and I'd filed for divorce citing adultery, she couldn't just force her way back in. She needed to work through the courts if she wanted access. That's when Nicole really lost it. She started screaming that I was a controlling abuser, that I'd always been possessive and jealous, that she was afraid of me. Complete freaking lies. "He threatened me. He threatened Bruce. He's violent." One of the officers looked at me skeptically. "Sir, have you made any threats toward your wife or her companion?" "I told them to leave my house when I caught them together. That's it." Nicole started hyperventilating. "He said he'd remove Bruce himself. That's a threat." "Ma'am," the officer said patiently, "if someone is in your home without permission and you ask them to leave, that's not a threat. That's your right as a homeowner." Bruce tried to step in and one of the officers told him to back off. "Sir, you need to understand your position here. You're the affair partner in an active divorce proceeding. I'd recommend you stay out of this." That shut Bruce up real quick. Nicole then claimed she needed medical records from the house because of her pregnancy. The officers agreed to escort her in to get essential items only, with me present to make sure she didn't take anything that wasn't clearly hers. Watching her walk through our house with Bruce waiting outside was surreal. She moved through the rooms like she was saying goodbye, touching things, looking around with this entitled expression like I was the one who didn't belong. She grabbed some clothes, toiletries, and a few personal items. But I caught her trying to take jewelry I'd bought her and some expensive electronics we'd purchased together. "Those stay here until the divorce is finalized," I told her. She gave me a look of pure hatred. "You're going to regret this, Des. I'm going to take everything from you. The house, your military benefits, your pension, all of it." "Good luck with that," I replied. One of the officers overheard this exchange. "Ma'am, I need to advise you that making threats during a divorce proceeding isn't in your best interest." After they left, I called Janet and filled her in. She wasn't surprised. "Desperate people do desperate things," she said. "This actually helps our case. Her behavior shows she's unstable and vindictive." But Nicole wasn't done. Over the weekend, I started getting calls from family members. Apparently, she'd been calling my parents, my sister, even my grandmother, telling them her version of events. She painted herself as the victim of an abusive, controlling husband who'd locked her out of her home while she was pregnant. My mom called me crying, asking if it was true that I'd thrown Nicole out on the street. I had to explain the whole situation again, the adultery, the pregnancy that wasn't mine, finding Bruce in my kitchen. Mom was horrified when she understood what really happened. "Oh honey, I'm so sorry. Nicole made it sound like you just snapped for no reason." Mom apologized for doubting me and said she'd set the record straight with the family. But the damage was done. Some family members are taking Nicole's side, believing her sob story. My cousin posted on Facebook about how there are two sides to every story and how abandoning a pregnant woman is never okay. I wanted to comment with the truth, but Janet advised against engaging on social media. "Let them think what they want," she said. "In court, we have evidence. Their opinions don't matter." The manipulation is textbook. Nicole is using her pregnancy as a shield, playing the victim, turning people against me. She's trying to isolate me from my support system while positioning herself as the wronged party. What really gets me is how calculated this is. She's not acting like someone who made a mistake and feels guilty. She's acting like someone who got caught and is now trying to minimize the consequences. Janet filed a motion for exclusive use of the marital home. We should hear back this week. She's confident given the adultery and the fact that Nicole voluntarily left to live with Bruce. I'm trying to stay focused on moving forward, but this emotional warfare is exhausting. Every day brings new drama, new lies, new manipulation. I just want this to be over so I can start rebuilding my life. The hardest part is accepting that the woman I married never really existed. The Nicole who sent me care packages and told me she loved me was just a mask. The real Nicole is vindictive, manipulative, and cruel. But I'm not backing down. I served my country and I'll fight for what's mine. Edit. Several people have asked about my chain of commands response. They've been incredibly supportive. They're giving me all the time I need to handle this legally. Final update, posted 3 days ago. Reddit, the main legal battle is over. I'm finally free to move forward. While the official divorce will take additional time due to legal requirements, I have everything I need. My house, financial protection, and most importantly, peace of mind. So the court hearing was last Friday. Janet absolutely crushed it in protecting my interests. Nicole tried every trick in the book. She claimed I was abusive and controlling. She said the pregnancy could still be mine. DNA test proved otherwise. She demanded spousal support because she sacrificed her career for my military service. Her lawyer even tried to argue that Bruce was just a friend who was helping her through a difficult time. The judge wasn't buying any of it. When Janet presented our evidence, Nicole's whole case fell apart. The best moment was when Nicole's lawyer tried to claim she was the victim of an abusive military husband who came home and flew into a violent rage. Janet calmly presented the security footage of Nicole banging on my door, threatening me, and demanding entry to a house she'd abandoned to live with her affair partner. The court granted me exclusive use of the marital home, protected my full military pension and benefits, and Nicole received no spousal support. The portion of shared assets she did receive was significantly less than what she had demanded. The judge made it clear that her betrayal and abandonment of the marriage had cost her most of her financial rights. Nicole's face when the judgment was read was something I'll never forget. Pure shock and rage. She'd convinced herself she was going to take me for everything. But here's the best part. Bruce wasn't there. Apparently he dumped her a few weeks ago when reality set in. Turns out playing house with a married woman is fun until there are actual consequences and a baby involved. Nicole is now abandoned, pregnant, and broke. So much for true love. I've spent the last few days deep cleaning the house, getting rid of anything that reminded me of her. I'm repainting the bedroom, buying new furniture, making the space mine again. It feels good to reclaim my life. Nicole texted me last week asking if we could meet to clear the air. I blocked her number. Some people suggested I should forgive her for my own peace of mind, but honestly, I'm at peace with my anger. She earned it. The last I heard, she's working double shifts at the bank trying to save money for the baby. Her parents aren't happy about the situation, and she's basically on her own. Bruce blocked her on everything and wants nothing to do with the baby. Karma's a bitch, and sometimes she works fast. I'm not gloating. Honestly, I mostly feel nothing when I think about Nicole now. The love I had for her died the moment I saw Bruce in my kitchen. Thanks again, Reddit. Time to move forward and never look back.